Hey guys, welcome back. Unfortunately, I'm a bit late to the party here. Just wanted to make a video on the new ban list, but the site Must Do Matter already has an article. That's awesome. Let's talk about it. I already have seen it, and let's see. I will have an opinion there. So we have firstly cards to be semi-limited. We have Sprite Blue going from 3 to 2. I do not like this. I like this in the terms that I will get ultra rare crafting points back and you will get probably ultra rare crafting points back. Other than that, I don't like it because I don't see the reason. Sprite is definitely not a really dominating force. Maybe it is because Joshua Schmidt streamed with Sprite winning the European #2 spot over the weekend when there were the World Championships qualifiers, who knows. But I think that Sprite didn't need a hit, and it could have been a more like weaker hit. I think a hit to Sprite a Jet would have been better, though maybe not that much weaker. So I'm not quite sure why they are doing this at this point. I think would have been perfectly fine to keep Sprite the way they are, and then maybe after Tearlament, when Sprite then becomes one of the strongest deck, then maybe think about a hit to Sprite. We also still do not have the Sprite support cards, the Sprite Sprint and the Sprite Double Cross. Maybe this means that we are missing some information and we will get these two or both of the cards in the next pack. Maybe the next pack on Wednesday, maybe could be the case. I am confused because we already should have these cards, or they should come in a few moments basically. So let's see how that works out. And then we have Gersu, the Orcust Magnite, from 1 to 2. I cannot say much about this. I would say this does not change a lot in terms of meta strongest decks. That doesn't make really a big difference. Of course, the Magnite and the Orcust players will be very happy for this card as basically a starter card coming to 2. But for our meta and the question what is the strongest deck, there is nothing much to say. We have Nadir Servant going from 1 to 2. This can be quite cool for the Branded Despia strategy. Recently, people have started to play this in Branded Despia because you can send it Fallen from Albers to the graveyard, or another Dogmatica card to your graveyard. But yeah, this is or was used as a replacement for getting your Branded Fusion Ashed, but I think it's not really needed. It's also an ultra rare that you can get in the Alba Abyss package, the branded package. So yeah, also of course we are getting the ritual monster, the Albazoa, the Dogmatica Albazoa, and this obviously is the Dogmatica card. So I think they are basically wanting to strengthen the Dogmatica archetype because there are new Dogmatica cards in the next pack. I think this is the reason why Nadir Servant goes to 2, but I also think Nadir Servant going to 2 is perfectly fine. I'm not quite sure because at this time I wasn't playing why it was like brought to 1, not quite sure. We can see that TCG has it at 3, OCG has it at 2, so yeah, we are basically like keeping up the pace with the OCG, putting this to 2. You have Metaverse from 1 to 2. This maybe happens because there is another thing on the ban list which we will see. Metaverse says take 1 field spell from your deck and either activate it or add it to your hands. So this is basically terraforming, but slower because it obviously is a trap, so it is weaker. Yeah, and it was at 1 for whatever reason, and now it's at 2. Perfectly fine. I think doesn't make a big difference. We will see some interesting thing when we come to the banned list, so then we will talk about this in a moment again. We have Cyber Angel Banten. This is really cool for the Drytron strategy, which definitely becomes stronger. But I also think that Tearlament first has to leave the format, because when Tearlament leaves the format, then Herald of the Orange Light can come back from the, I think it's at 1 right now, then it could potentially be unlimited, and this is really important for the Drytron strategy. Also the Bestials that are coming now are really bad for Drytron, so these trends basically have to reverse themselves before this deck can be strong again. And then sorry guys. And then we have cards to be limited, and yeah, this is what I hoped for. Unfortunately, this is not quite what I hoped for. This is nice, but as you can see here, because here already begins the newly forbidden section, not every one of these is going to 1. We have Keldo, we have Mudora, we have Agido to 1. This is really nice. We also get ultra rare crafting points back. This is always nice. I would have wished for Kelbeck to also go to 1, because in my opinion Kelbeck is the most annoying one. Another annoying part of Kelbeck's effect is the bouncing card back to hand effect. From the hand. This is really annoying, so Kelbeck is by far the most annoying of the 4, and Kelbeck will stay at 2. I would have loved to see every one of these go to 1, and I also predicted basically that this will happen. I was pretty sure that they will not get to be forbidden, and I also think that they don't need to be forbidden. That's a bit harsh. I think they all should be at 1. That's pretty fine. So unfortunately they are not going with the whole Ishizu cards to 1. And then we have the newly forbidden cards. We have Cyberstein from 1 to 0, which is pretty annoying because I recently pulled this guy out of the Legacy pack. Maybe you didn't know that, but from the Legacy pack, the pack that you can always get free tickets from, where there is only bad stuff in, there is Cyberstein in there. So this is really nice. But yeah, they are banning it. They also recently banned it in the TCG just a few days ago, and I think in an overall perspective I really like this, because I think Cyberstein is way too strong. Paying 5,000 life points to get, for example, to your Naturia Exterior, and then basically saying your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards. That's way too powerful, and paying 5,000 life points, yeah, that's a lot, but you still have 3,000 left, and if your opponent just cannot break your board, then what does it matter if you have 3,000 or 8,000 life points? So I think this card is really annoying. This obviously is also a hit to Tearlaments, because Tearlaments has recently started playing this a lot actually. So I like the hit, I like the hit overall. I think this is overall a card that should not be in the game and is like a directed Tearlaments hit. Though I would have preferred if Kelbeck would also go to 1 and maybe Cyberstein stays at 1. So the Kelbeck limited to 1 thing is, in my opinion, more worth than this card on the ban list and the next card we will see on the ban list. Not this one, because this is Smoke a Grenade of the Thief. Going from 3 to 0, this is also from the Legacy pack, and of course, I mean, every one of us has probably played against this card. Sometimes an Emancipator variant has played this with the equip Synchro Summon Dragon, the Tool Dragon, or how it is called. So you basically equip this thing. When this is destroyed by a card effect, then you can look at your opponent's hands and discard 1. This is obviously really toxic when you get to do this on your first turn and then basically rip 1 or maybe 2 cards out of your opponent's hands. So all in all, I'm happy with this. I'm not quite sure where this comes from actually, because I don't think that this is a combo that is like often used in the meta right now. I'm not quite sure where this comes from. So yeah, Smoke Grenade of the Thief from 3 to 0. I think this is a card that basically should not be in the game. This is a really annoying card. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I see this, though I'm not quite sure where this comes from. And then we have the last thing, Terraforming from 1 to 0, and this is what I wanted to talk about, or what I talked about when I talked about Metaverse. You could then replace your Terraforming with Metaverse, but would you replace it with 2 Metaverses? You would only play 1, so I'm not seeing it. Also, Metaverse obviously is worse than is Terraforming. The Terraforming hit here I do not really like, because obviously this is a Tearlament hit. Obviously this makes Tearlament less efficient. But this also hits a lot of other decks. This hits also Fluonaries, which is basically a direct opponent to Tearlaments. This also hits stuff like Numeron, which this is fine for me, I hate the deck. But this also hits decks in the future like Kashtira, which also have a field spell that is very important, that is a Searcher, same as with Tearlaments. So this is basically not only hitting Tearlaments, this is hitting a lot of decks, and I do not think that Terraforming in itself is a problematic card. I think they could definitely have kept this at 1. I also have it. You may also have it, so we get ultra rare points back. That's quite nice. But I think, I mean, what I like is that they are not like destroying Tearlaments with a ban list. I like that they take little steps to make it weaker, because they are updating the ban list every month. That's quite fine. But I tell you what, I would have liked these 2 keeping at 1, and then the Kelbeck going to 1 as well. This would have been my preferred list, and then maybe one of the Tearlaments names. But limiting these cards, this is the perfect thing, I think. So you don't need to touch the Tearlaments deck at all. You don't need to touch the Tearlaments cards, because it's very sad if they just destroy the archetype, because it's a really cool archetype, a really unique archetype, and I don't think that it's too strong. The problem are the Ishizu cards, so putting everyone at 1 would have been great in my opinion. I mean, this is also fine. And now let's think about what this means for our upcoming meta. So I am a bit surprised. I would say they definitely did not hit Tearlament as hard as I would have expected. So I think what they are wanting to force here is one meta, like 1 month, where they are basically, or we are basically playing the Bestial meta. So every deck will want to run the Bestials. So you buy the idea is that you have to buy the Bestials from the new pack so that your deck becomes more meta relevant against Tearlaments, and I am quite interested in how this will play out. I can imagine a format that is quite nice, in which Tearlaments will still be the strongest deck, but in which there will be a lot of other decks who run a Bestial package that can also like heavily disrupt Tearlaments very effectively, and then maybe play a good matchup against them. So this could end up with a meta that is quite fun, though I think Tearlaments will be the strongest deck, but I imagine a situation in where Tearlaments is the strongest deck, and then there are a lot of other decks that can just side in or put in the Bestials and then be fine. But note here, same thing as I said in the video I did yesterday on the cards that will come in the next pack. It's up in the info box if you have not seen it already. I think the Bestials are going to be here as long as Tearlaments will be around, and then they will fall to the side basically, and not a lot of decks will play them in the main deck. Only Bestial Dragon Link, Branded Despia, and other strategies that use this light and dark chaos variant idea. They will still play the Bestials, but I think they will fall to the wayside after Tearlament really gets destroyed. If it ever gets destroyed, I'm not quite sure. So what I'm thinking here is they want to push the Bestials. We basically can get the Bestials now and make Tearlaments even weaker, though it is still the strongest deck even with these hits. And then I think the next ban list will have a few more hits for Tearlaments, I would guess. And after that, it could be the case that Tearlament is no longer the strongest deck, though then we also probably will get Kashtira. So could also be the case, here's another theory, could also be the case that these are the last hits that Tearlaments will receive. Maybe they will get Kelbeck to 1 in the future, maybe. But could also be the case that they say, okay, we have the Bestials now, Tearlament is not as strong as it was before, and then they introduce full power Kashtira, so you and I will buy the Kashtira pack to get the Kashtira cards, which probably will get very expensive. And then Kashtira basically is kind of a counter to Tearlaments, because they have the effect that they banish a lot. They have the boss monster, the Orisa, that basically banishes every card and sends it to the banish pile. So could also be the case that they are following this strategy. So all in all, I like the list. I don't like the Sprite Blue to 2. I don't know why we are doing this. I like this here, though I would have preferred to also get Kelbeck to 1. And I'm also fine with Cyberstein. This is nice, and Terraforming is okay. I mean, this weakens Tearlaments, so it's fine, I guess. The field spell is really strong, so having one less field spell basically is quite nice. So yeah, all in all, I'm happy with the list. I would have wished the list to be a bit different, but it's alright, and I'm really interested what the next format, the next month of play will have in the pocket for us. I think it could be quite nice. So yeah, on Wednesday when the new pack comes out, I will live stream. I will live stream with the new decks. I will play Bestial Dragon Link. I will also play the new Branded Despia deck. I have both of them and I really love both of them. So I think I will live stream for a while, and will also make videos when it comes to the new content. There is also a new structure deck teased, but I think we will not get it in the next iteration. Maybe we'll get on the new rank for the new ranked season. I can imagine this when it comes around, when the new pack comes around, but let's just see. I hope you like the video. If you like it, then thumbs up and subscribe if you like my content, and we will see each other in the next one.